Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today's video I'm hoping is only going to be really quick. It's not going to be particularly professional. It's just sort of to keep a promise. At the start of the whole Train Sim World 2 thing, I said I would let you know if there's any more news. And today we have some news. Now, ironically enough, I've just bought the I can't remember what it's called now, the American route, the mass transit sort of metro type one that runs from New York Penn and all that. I can't remember what it's called now, but I've just been driving that, and I was arriving into New York Penn thinking, oh, these textures are nice. I wonder what they'll actually do with regards to the Bakerloo line. And ironically enough, they've actually released some pictures today, like a few minutes ago, of the Train Sim World stuff. So I'm just going to quickly go through them. Like I said, there's no real other news outside of it, I don't think. We're going to read through the article. I'm going to show you the pictures. I've got some high definition versions that you can see, and then I'm going to have the video. If you hear any background noise, then I apologise, but we've literally got every window and every door open in the house right now, because it is boiling hot. It is like 30 degrees in the UK at the moment. So if you hear any background noise, I'm sorry, but there isn't much I can do about that, because otherwise I would be overheating right now. Anyway, let's go on into the video. So, news. Train Sim World 2, new screens. And you can see a picture instantly of the DB Talent 2 and the ICE 3. Take first look at the Cone Hobbahnhof, I apologise again. Go underground at Baker Street and get closer to the power of CSX on Sandpatch Grade. We'll be posting weekly updates in the run-up to the release of Train Sim World 2. Okay, so expect, like I say, if I can, expect a weekly video. Like I say, there may be the odd opportunity where I can't, or there's nothing really of interest to talk about. But I thought I'd show you these screenshots today. Today we're looking at some of the brand new screens of the 3 different routes featured in Train Simulation. That one which I won't try and pronounce, because I've already messed up some German once in this video, so I don't think I need to do it again. Bakerloo Line and Sandpatch Grade. So yeah, they are clearly your German route with the ICEs. Your Talent 2. Now that looks nice. A nice scenic sort of view with all your rusted bridge and nice high-speed train. Yeah, I like that. That looks pretty. And bearing in mind, I'm not going to talk about any of the other features of Train Sim World. I'm just going to talk about the visuals that we see in this article that are sort of presented to us and the way they've been presented. And yeah, so far, not a complaint. Built in the 20s, unique. That one, just outside Düren, is one of the more iconic structures on the high-speed line, and the first of its kind in the world. With Train Sim World 2, you'll be racing over this part of history in modern intercity express and regional traction. Clearly, a regional traction is going to be the Talent 2, which I don't mind seeing another version of, to be honest. It's not the best train, I don't think, in Train Sim World, but it's certainly not the worst either. So, or is it? I don't know. I don't drive it that much. It's all right. It could do with some enhancements on the sounds and stuff, certainly. Physics are a bit questionable. It seems to take off a little bit too harsh. At certain points, like when you put it into full throttle, it just seems to yum, and like, yeah. I mean, sure, it probably does that in real life, but it seems a little overpowered to me. But then I've never been on one, so I don't know how they accelerate. Some trains are ridiculously fast accelerating. And you've already seen the top of this one. This is clearly the Bakerloo line. Baker Street, if you didn't know, or if you couldn't work it out, by the Street. It's the full length of the Bakerloo line in its classic 1972 Mark II stock in Train Sim World. Deep level stations of the Bakerloo line here each have their own characteristics and bespoke design, but none are quite as striking as Baker Street, which owes its tile pattern, to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's legendary detective Sherlock Holmes. Yep, so, if you've never been to Baker Street, it's quite a nice station. You see you've got Sherlocks there, and these big Sherlocks on the wall are actually made up by little ones. If you look really closely at real life, so I'm assuming they'll have it in Train Sim World, but they're actually tiny little emblems of the big picture itself that actually make up them emblems. So that's nice to see. The final part of the article, from widespread Cumberland Yard, local facilities to Mace Post Office, there's no end to the heavy hauling action on the Keystone Subdivision Sandpatch Grade, which we tackle on board a trio of CSX motive masterpieces. Now, we already know what they are. Obviously, the SD40-2 and the, I think one of them's an SD40-3, and then you got a GP185 or something. Yeah, you know what they are. You know what they are. I can't remember. I'm not into my American stuff personally, but if you are, then that's good. These, I think, need less discussion, because obviously we've seen Sandpatch Grade. But I'm going to hop over to Facebook quick, because there are some slightly higher definition versions that were released by Train Sim World. Naturally, of course, you've got your ICE. Yeah. I can't see, the church looks nice in the background. Can't see anything sort of immediately wrong with it. Maybe them sleepers actually look a tiny bit too high out the ballast. Possibly. But it could also be German design. I can't really make much of a decision or a judgment based off of these pictures, because I'm not in the know, unfortunately, enough to really be able to make an educated decision. So I may say something that is entirely wrong with regards to these. I've just noticed, though, that there's a destination display on the Talent 2 over there, and I don't think we had a destination display on the current one, so that's nice. I mean, sure, it'd be static, and you'll be able to scroll through it with F7 and F8, or through a TMS as you could on the Electrostar, but, you know. Moving on, we got that, the higher definition version of, well, a larger version. I guess they're the same definition, but it's just larger for you to be able to see. And, yeah, the texturing looks quite nice, to be honest. It looks all rusty and dirty. Possibly a bit repetitive in a way. But, yeah. No real complaints with that, to be honest. It looks nice. There's even actually some information on there, which is nice. Probably destination display and all that kind of stuff. No, that train looks quite nice, actually. And I think they've got big windows in the front, haven't they? So you can actually see out the front. So, should be quite nice to have a go in there, I reckon. Bushes, trees, beautiful. Pretty scenery. But then Trains in World's always been pretty. That's the thing. It comes without saying, pretty much, that Trains in World will look pretty. Some of the scenes look a tiny bit barren, but it is genuinely really pretty, especially in sort of evening and dusk light settings. Right, next one. Of course, this is a Bakerloo line. This is where it sort of comes into it, and I can start discussing a little bit more about what I'd like to see. First impressions, yeah, it's reasonable. It's pretty good. There are a few things that I would have to say. Firstly, it looks a little bit too bright and clean. Maybe not necessarily too bright as in there's too much light on it, but it's not really the right sort of feel, if you get what I mean. It's a funny one. It's good. I'd certainly like it, and I've got sort of no sort of real issues with it. I love how they've actually 3D modelled the brickwork arches that go over the top, and that you've got the cable runs on the left hand side, and they're sort of poking out the wall as well. I love all that. No problem with that. Posters, no problems with the posters. They can't use real world advertising, because then they have to pay for the licensing on it. So I totally get where they're coming from. I am actually quite excited to see what they come up with. Some of their posters, not so much with DTG, but some of them are quite good. Some of them have been quite funny in the past. So I'd like to see a few. Like, most of them I want to see, yeah, that looks like a reasonable holiday advert for maybe an airline or a travel company or something. Next one, probably a storage. Yep, self-storage. There you go, see? One after that, well, the two after that sort of look like two concerts or something. But that looks like a film, actually, the first one. The next one looks like a 166 or a 47. So I don't know what that'd be advertising, but maybe a concert or something. Who knows? The departure boards are pretty good. I'm not going to be able to comment on them too much. I don't think I'll comment on them too much, like I say, because they're at quite a distance. But they look a bit too square. I'm sure they've sort of got a slight taper at the bottom in real life, and I can't see that on there. However, like I say, we're a long way off, so I won't go too far into sort of moaning about that. The signage is interesting, to say the least. There's a gap here but there's no gap here. And that does slightly confuse me. Now, it's been a very long time since I've been through Baker Street and been on the Bakerloo line, so I am quite possibly forgetting. But to me, that doesn't look quite right. I would have thought there would be a gap there, because obviously that panel comes off and that panel comes off, and so you'd have to take both panels off to remove the sign, and it sort of doesn't make a lot of sense. The bin's good. The bin's good, yeah. I like that. The signage, yeah, I can see. You can see all the signage. No complaints with that sort of thing. Again, we've got a map on the wall. Lovely, lovely. Moving into the cab now. The immediate thing that you notice is it's not all that weathered. They're quite sort of scratched up and, well, more scratched up. The paintwork's sort of peeling on places, and they're some of them are probably like this. But sort of the whole cab should look a little bit more like this door handle. I just noticed that door handle. That door handle looks quite good. But certainly the control desk, and the control desks generally don't shine up that well. They're quite grubby, and the glass on them is a bit grubby usually. The handles have been completely battered. They got the modelling nice. I can't see any problem with the modelling, to be honest. Yeah, maybe that looks a tiny bit shallow, but I'm not gonna sort of, again, until we actually see it, I can't really sort of say conclusively what they've done right and wrong and all that. No one must enter the lift to the door unless the controller is in shutdown position and the key selector is removed. That is not Johnson. It looks like it is. It looks like it's Johnston font, but then I look at the tops of the eyes and they don't look diamond. So maybe they've used a variant of Johnston. I don't have any real complaints immediately about it. It still actually does look pretty similar to the Johnston typeface. But the eyes, the squares over the eyes are sort of iconic, and you can't go without the squares over the eyes. So, however, TFL, I think, are very protective over the Johnston font, so if they don't add it, then I see why as well. They're probably quite a lot, quite precarious on that. Again, with the saloon, I love this. I was not expecting that, especially as it's part of the TFL iconic branding. They've weathered it. Well, they've obviously gone and taken a picture of the actual thing from a train. Now, they could have gone onto the TFL website and grabbed sort of the picture of, the sort of the, what's it called? The car line diagram sort of image icon. They could have grabbed that, but they haven't. And I like that. The problem is, when you take a picture in real life, the colours are slightly distorted within the game. And that has happened a bit here. It has fallen flat with the colours a little bit. For example, I can actually see that the brown is a bit dark. The blue looks a little dark. But overall, it's good. And it's nice that they've actually used a weathered variant of it. But then you look on the other signs and there's no weathering on them. There's no peeling. There's no scratch marks. There's no anything else. And sure, the signs, the stickers get replaced all the time. So not every sticker would have one, but it'd be nice if you had a little bit of something on this. The other thing is, the car, again, that looks a bit clean. I like the shine on the poles. Don't get me wrong, I really like that shine on the poles. But the poles are usually a little scratched. So some cars are obviously worse than others. You obviously get on a train and sometimes it will look reasonably clean, and other times, they're covered in graffiti and all sorts. So as much as I wouldn't expect the graffiti from sort of the company perspective sort of thing, it would be nice if we had a little bit more weathering going on. Again, it's company sort of branding, and they don't want to sort of show TFL in the wrong light, and I get that, and TFL wouldn't want to have a product published that shows them off in a bad light. So I do get where they're coming from by not, but it still does look a little bit clinical. The other thing is, I've just noticed that emergency alarm, that appears to be empty. That behind the glass, it appears to be empty for some reason. I'm just going to have a quick look at these signs up the top. Hammersmith City line looks a little orange, but that might just be sort of looking at it from here. No sort of serious complaints with it. No, it does look like the Johnson typeface. So I'll be interested to find out if it is actually the Johnson typeface, or if I'm seeing things, and that is a square rather than a diamond, and have a look on the map. I think that's a legitimate picture of a tube map. So yeah, they got the diamond on there. So yeah, that's pretty much what I want to talk about. Again, the last two images I'll show you because they're quite nice. Obviously you got all the CSX locos sitting on the yard. Nice water tower over there. And I think this is down the other end of the line somewhere, that post office they were talking about. So yeah. So overall, again, it's pretty much there's not a lot graphically to talk about that we've not seen in Train Sim World. They could do a little bit more weathering on the underground bits, but other than that, I've not got a serious complaint. Train Sim World's always been a stunner for looks, so again, this is sort of met expectations just fine. No sort of real issues that I can sort of say about this. I know I've obviously brought up a few bits with the Bakerloo line stuff, but overall, I can't really see a lot that's sort of done wrong. It's just the weathering, really. It would just be nice to see a little bit more weathering on it. Make it feel a tiny bit more lived in and realistic rather than sort of sterile and empty. Now, obviously, the platforms are empty, and I'm sure they'll do the passengers at some point. I just noticed the platform repeater as well. We've not seen signals. Somebody noticed that that junction signal that I saw in the first video, in the first sort of images, that wasn't a London Underground signal. That was a National Rail signal. That to me looks like an underground signal, but I can't tell for definite for a distance. Oh, actually, I've just noticed that way out sign's glowing. That's nice. At least I put the pit in the middle. Nice shiny rails and stuff. Yeah. No serious concerns. The modelling's lovely. It'd be nice to see what they actually do, whether you can sort of cross between the two platforms at Baker Street, because obviously on Baker Street you jump over to the Jubilee line, for example. So it'd be nice to see if you can sort of do different bits and walk around the station and stuff. See what they've actually modelled. It'd be nice. It would be nice. It'd be a nice Easter egg if they actually model the upstairs of Baker Street and you can actually walk upstairs and go to the Metropolitan, Hammersmith and City platforms. I doubt they'd do that. There's no real point for them to do that, but it would be nice if they did that. And then one day, obviously, we got the Hammersmith and City or Metropolitan lines or Circle, and they sort of used the same model and you could walk around. And what I want to see from Train Sim World is them starting to connect up maps. So rather than having an entirely separate map for the Bakerloo line and then an entirely separate map for the West Coast Main Line, if they started connecting the maps together so they were part of one. I don't think that will happen. It would never run on the low-end PCs. It probably wouldn't run on the high-end PCs if you had the entirety of the UK. In fact, you could probably end up with the entirety of blooming Europe and America and Australia, and it would be stupid. It would be stupid. So, there's no sort of real thing. But it would be nice maybe if we have sort of a mobile gaming setup where you go along a map and then you're doing a service and then it automatically teleports you to the next map. So if you've got North London Line, for example, you come round to North London Line, you go off onto sort of down to the Great Western. There's a loading point. It saves your sort of throttle and reverser, brake and all that. It'd be nice if it did that. It'd probably reset it all, but if you stop somewhere and then it changes maps and then you can carry on the exact same service without you having to come out of the game and select a new service and drive and make sure the console's correct. It'd be nice if you could do that and all the timetables sort of matched up with each other. But anyway, I think I'm going to end that there. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I can't wait to see more sort of shots and stuff in the future, and I'm sure they'll obviously do live streams and stuff. I probably won't show you any of the live stream footage, but I can show you screenshots and stuff when they come out. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.